Welcome back everyone to more career mode gameplay of SRX, the game. And in today's video, I am extremely excited for two reasons. Number one, Durango Park, my absolute favorite track in the game. The layout, the scenery, the racing, everything is awesome here. It is routine to be 2, 3, 4 wide at this track, particularly once you get into lap traffic, and eventually we will no longer be the lap traffic. So Durango Park, amazing racetrack with amazing racing. But the second reason that I am very excited is because today will be the final race before our engine upgrade. So if we hop over to the garage area, you can see that we have upgraded up until now the chassis, the suspension, and the tires. So we've done upgrades to every part of our car except for the engine. We're still using the beginner engine, that starter engine, which is so far down on horsepower. However, if we hop over to level 2, we could go ahead and do an upgrade to give us a plus 10 in performance to the engine. We could have gone, in fact, we could have done that last week. But I'm saving up because when we looked over to level 3, I noticed the top middle 25 out of 30. Now the durability is horrible, but the max performance is 25 out of 30. That would be a plus 17 from where we are now. And on top of all that, it might very well be the last engine upgrade that we need. Now, granted, it's still not fully upgraded 30 out of 30, but at this point, it should give us so much more horsepower that we would finally have more horsepower than we have grip, and that's something we haven't been able to say at any point up through the career mode so far. So 25 out of 30, and it costs $60,918. So about $2,200 from where we are right now. And that is a huge upgrade in horsepower and something I'm very much looking forward to. But today's race, again, my favorite track, 40 laps if we can make it to the A main. It's 0.4 of a mile, very little banking inside of this facility, but take a look at the first place prize. Now, granted, we're not going to be competing for a win, but our cutoff point is about 10 grand. Anything 10 grand and above, and particularly the showcase events, of course, but 10 grand and above is considered a good paying event. Anything below 10 grand is a low paying event. In fact, some of these events are only pay $1,000 to $2,000, which is certainly not any good for our bottom line. But 10 grand, it's right on par with where we need to be. Let's get to the track. Practice and qualifying now in the books, and things have gone really well. I'm very happy with the handling of the car. And in case you're wondering, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you notice that I'm using a custom setup. That custom setup is basically identical to what I posted on the channel as a baseline setup for the 305s. Obviously, it's not going to handle exactly the same because we're not fully upgraded. But if you're interested in what type of setup that I use in these cars, that video will give you exactly what you need to know. As far as our times, the goal time in practice, 13:15, and we were able to meet that at a 13:07. Then qualifying, we were able to back that up at a 13:06. That puts us just ahead of midfield. I believe we were like 28th, 26th, somewhere in there. But the point is, we've got a little speed for today's race. We're going to be starting in heat number 3. Let's get going. Top 4 advance into the A main. That's what we're here for. Let's see if we can make that happen, because then we wouldn't have to deal with the alphabet soup to try to get a good finish. Trying to get down to that bottom immediately. All right, we were able to do that. Now I'm going to be using the brakes quite a bit on corner entry just to try to get to the right line, make sure we can hold it. All right, we're in 5th right now. There's a couple of guys breathing right down our necks. I can see right out of the edge of the virtual mirror on top. I don't spend a lot of time looking at that thing, but there are some times when certain paint schemes, I just cannot miss them when they're in there. I saw somebody go really wide in the corner, which would be awesome in real life to do. But here in the game, it doesn't really equate to any speed, at least not that I'm aware of. All right, so we're in 4th right now. But that guy coming on the outside. Now, the AI are able to do things on the outside of the track that I wish I could do. But as of yet, I have not figured out a way to do it. He can just maintain tons of momentum out there. For right now, I'm just going to let him have that because I cannot duplicate that. And what we really don't want is for him to get below us like he's about to do now. Wow, that was close. Yep, I could see him coming. I mean, that guy is fast when he sticks to the bottom. Now, if we can keep him to stick to that outside, we've got a shot. Oh, we are so close. Looks like, though, he has found another gear. All right, I noticed him go wide there. All right, final lap. Can we do anything with this guy? If he sticks to the outside, we got a shot here. Did we get him? Oh, we got him. We got him. Okay. And that could not have been more perfect for us. He decided, I mean, now granted, you guys saw what he was doing on the bottom. If he runs the bottom, he was lightning fast compared to us. But when he drifted out wide in the corner, we had a shot, and he did it for a few corners in a row, allowed us to get enough momentum, and we're headed to the A main.
It's going to be an exciting race.
Could it really be any better? We're headed to the A main at my absolute favorite track, and we already know we're going to get enough money off of this race for our engine upgrade. So this is really the best possible scenario for us. All right, once again, try to get to this bottom. And let's just see what kind of speed we've got here for the A main. Of course, if you're like me, right now you're thinking, man, wouldn't it have been awesome if we could have gotten that engine before this race? So we could have seen just what a little extra horsepower would have done for us. Oh, I slid way too wide there. Lost momentum. I was trying to stay off the brakes to maintain as much momentum as possible, and it just didn't work. All right, so we're hanging in there at 17th, but we're getting a lot of pressure from behind. Oh, hello. Okay, that was nice and polite there. Lots of contact there. Like I told you, these guys do not shy from contact. And fortunately, the game is pretty lenient on contact and damage from contact. You can get by with quite a bit before it really starts to hurt the car. But in the case of the AI, they really take advantage of that. Oh, more contact. Not sure where that came from. But something happened to the car. Alright, so we're in 16th, so it's not like we've fallen way back or something. We're still hanging in there. Car's handling just fine, especially considering the fact that I am asking it to run a groove that is much lower than it wants. Okay, let's just do some more contact there. Yeah, he wanted that bottom, he wanted through. And so, well, that's exactly what he did. So we got another guy on the outside. He is running way wide through the corners. That would be amazing if we could do that and maintain any sort of speed. I mean, who doesn't want to run the high line, or in this case, the wide line? So if you can hear the engine sounds good enough, I've had to turn them down some. But if you can hear it, you can hear me modulating the throttle some. Just to always make sure that I'm accelerating in the right direction in the car. Because there's no sense in trying to run it wide open if you're simply running the wrong lanes and you're not accelerating in the right direction. Oh, didn't quite hit my spot there. You can see, is that the leader coming through? I believe it was. I'm trying to give these guys the outside instead of the inside, because I would prefer not to lose any positions in all of this lapping if at all possible. but I also see some guys who look hungry. Oh, right there, that was a body slam on corner entry. As I was saying, some of these guys look hungry and they don't look like they want to go around on the outside. So I'm trying to let some of them through right now, if I can. But yeah, absolutely love this track. It's entirely possible that the reason for my love of this track is it reminds me heavily of the Chili Bowl. Now, granted, it is a much longer track, a much bigger track than the Chili Bowl, but let's face it, it very much reminds you of that type of track. With it being indoors, the general look and feel of the facility, it's essentially a bigger version of the Chili Bowl, and I'm here for it. Yep, I thought he was coming through. Glad I gave him a little room there. I'm going to do the same thing for the guy following him. Nope, he went high. All right. Suit yourself. All right, so 21 laps to go. As I've mentioned before, the longer the races in these cars, the better. I absolutely love driving these things. If only they had some force feedback. There is so little force feedback in the wheel for me in this car. It is unreal. Now, perhaps if you had a direct drive wheel, something with a much stronger force feedback, it might be a lot better. But with a Logitech G920, the feel is so weak that, I mean, it's there, but it's very, very weak, almost to the point of just not having anything. It's not far from that. But yeah, these races being 40 laps, I would be perfectly fine if they were 60 laps, 80 laps. It is so much fun in these cars. It's the same way I felt about the midget cars in the previous game, and I wish we had the midgets here. I really wish we could customize our road in career, our path, because I would have the midget cars, I would have the 305s, I would put those 410 wing jobs that we had in the very first. Those are my absolute favorites, which we could put those in there, and honestly I would just leave out. In their current iteration, I would just leave out the SRX cars altogether if I could customize. As much as I love stock car racing, in this game, the SRX cars, they took the fun out of them. Oh, that was close. Woo! Okay. Everybody still with me out there? Because when I saw that guy right where I wanted to be, all I had time for was one quick move to the right. And fortunately, we just missed him. As I was in the middle of talking about the SRX cars, customization. But yeah, I mean, the cars that I want to drive in a game like this, I would love the SRX cars if they didn't have 10 times more grip than they need, and they weren't running extremely fast lap times that are simply not realistic at all. But yeah, as it stands, 305s, I'm all about it. And of course the dirt late models, I'm all about those. Would love to have the 410 Sprints with the wings. Would love to have those. Absolutely love to have those with these physics. Woo, look out. Now, by the way, I haven't been talking about it as we've been racing here, as we are nearing the last, what, 10 laps, 8 or 10 laps? But we're up to 12. Now, how we've done that, I have no idea, because it seems like we just keep getting passed by cars. I mean, how many times have we been lapped by the leaders? It just seems like we've been lapped constantly. But you can see, I mean, we're back to 13th right now, but we're hanging in there with these guys. We've definitely picked up some spots since that restart. I actually had a feeling we might have been 3 wide coming off that corner. Right at the last second, I tried to yank it back down and get to the bottom and give that guy some room that apparently he's just going to take right there. So we have to be accumulating some damage. We've been hit, body slammed, pinched. I mean, it's all over the place here. And yet, through all of that, what's happening? We're still in 12th. 12th and 13th, we've been right in here the entire time. 3 laps to go. I don't even want it to end. As much as I really want the money and the points from this type of finish, what I really want more is to keep racing. All right, so there comes 12th. Again, this guy just keeps flowing through. I'm guessing he goes high at some point, and that's how we get back by him. But wow, what a race. Again, if you can't have fun at this track, then I don't know what to tell you. It is an absolute blast. Now, how we went from running 17th and 18th at the start of that race before caution to running 13th, there must have been a huge pileup of cars. But we'll take it. We've been part of that pileup before. So 13th position, I can't wait to find out how many points and, of course, how much money we get from this finish. So 13th position, that is 66 points. That now puts us in 20th position overall for the few races we've had this season so far. And so what do we get? 5,500 is our portion of the purse, plus our sponsor payouts, merch sales. Look at that merch sales, $134. Thank you guys so much for all the t-shirts and the hats that you guys are purchasing. $7,720 overall. Yes, please. That is exactly what we need to do. We need to keep hammering out these amazing finishes. Better finishes equals more money, which equals more upgrades, and we just keep going with it until we've got all the upgrades that we want, and we're continuing to move forward because we want podiums, we want race victories, we want all of those things. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and remember, next time we're getting an engine upgrade.